today I'm making my famous curry shrimp, and here are some of my ingredients. First and foremost, I have my shrimp. These are some 3140 shrimps, and I like to butterfly them. They're already cleaned, ready to go, tail off, and I got a couple of big ones somewhere in there. I like a little cauliflower in my curry shrimp. I'll put that to the side. I cut up some onions and carrots and some yellow peppers I had in the fridge. I got some cut up scallion that I made, and I got some fresh garlic that I grated, and I got some fresh thyme that I cut up. I got a tomato here on the side. You definitely can't have a party and not invite Scotch bonnet pepper in there. This is definitely going in. It's a good flavor burst of pepper for you. And most definitely, I'm a Blue Mountain curry powder man myself. I really like it. I think it's good. It has good flavors. And I'm using some sazon from Badia, which is very nice. And I'm gonna use a little bit of chicken base I got here, chicken bouillon, just a little bit, just a flavor. I know it's a seafood dish and I'm mentioning chicken, but you wanna get a quick burst of flavor, go with the best. Go with a little bit of chicken bouillon. And as you can see, you know, we like stuff like this, you know, it's really good stuff. Anyway, this is how I'm gonna start. Oh, I left the star to show out. I like to start with some coconut oil in my pan first. So I got a preheated pan here. I put the fire on something like, I'd say number 6. I actually started out high and I dropped it down to number 6. Take out some coconut oil. And I'm definitely gonna start with about 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. I know that might look like a lot, but it's not. So let's get that in there. Yeah, about 2 tablespoons, maybe 2.5. And I'm using an old wok here, which I kind of like because it helps to keep, it holds a lot of food in there. So I let that coconut oil melt down in there. And I'm gonna turn my fire up just a little bit more so I could cook it all down really easy. And the first thing I'm gonna put in the pan is my onions, carrots, and yellow peppers. And yeah, that's the sound you wanna hear. I'm gonna start sauteing that. There's some good stuff going on in here, especially when you're cooking like some Caribbean food that you make with curry, like curry shrimp, curry chicken, curry goat. You definitely benefit from the coconut oil. I mean, if you could smell this, you would know what I'm talking about. That's where we are with it right now. I said I turned the fire up. I just put it back on 6. I actually turned it down to 4, but it's back on 6. Next, I'm probably gonna go ahead and just drop in some thyme, because that's gonna introduce a lot of flavor to everything going on in here. So thyme in, and look how colorful that is. That's kind of where you want to be. That's what you're looking for. And you kind of want to hear for it too. So what I mean when I say that is you listen for the food. You listen for the sizzling going on in the pan. And this way you won't burn anything. You just watch it. Stir and watch your fire and listen. Right there with your fire. At this point, I'm gonna just go ahead and prep this tomato and prep that Scotch bonnet pepper. Actually, I'll do the pepper first. This pepper is hot. That's why I'm kind of using it in pieces. I'm not putting the whole thing in there. I don't recommend it. You definitely want to watch the pepper. Don't put your hands on the inside of the pepper. See, I'm keeping my hands back, not really touching it. Again, I like the flavor, so I'm probably gonna take a couple of seeds out of there too, because that's where the real heat is. Put that guy right there, and I'm gonna leave it right there. Now I'm prepping this tomato, and I'm not getting too fancy with it. And you know, a lot of people would take that out. I don't always take it out, but I'm gonna take it out now. Just give it a rough chop. Leave that to the side with the Scotch bonnet pepper and get everything set up, ready to go. I'm watching this and I'm really liking what's going on. So far so good. This is exactly where I want to be. Onions sweating down, carrots sweating down, my yellow bell pepper sweating down. Perfect, just like this. Next I'm going to slip in that Scotch bonnet pepper. Yeah, I'm really trying not to touch it, guys, because I know it can be very hot. In. Yeah, so as I'm cooking it and I'm adding the ingredients one at a time, because I grew up in the Caribbean kitchen, I'm smelling, you know, like, and it's reminding me, you know, when my mom used to cook and I was, you know, a lot younger, and you'd be running around, you're so hungry, you're waiting for the food. And if you were like me when you were a kid, you'd probably say, "Mom, when is it gonna be ready?" And she tells you, "Soon, you know, just wait." My mom would get a little frustrated and say, "Wait," but this is where we are right now. So I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna throw my scallions in there. This is a quick and easy meal, guys. That's why you always gotta prep ahead of time with this meal. Now I throw my scallions in after my onions, because the scallions doesn't take that long to cook. They sure do add a lot of flavor to the food. Yeah, that's what makes it great. And the coconut oil is very good for you too, guys. Not only does it add a lot of flavor, but it has a lot of antioxidants in there. So it's good for the body, especially when you pair it with all these vegetables. Good stuff happening right there. I like it so much, I'm probably gonna dab a little more coconut oil in there, just a little bit. So I put about a teaspoon and a half, maybe less. Get a little more oil going in there. Just like that. Just like that. I'm gonna put in my chicken base. And I'm gonna put in about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half. Not too much. And then depending on how it tastes, I might put a little more. I'm still maintaining that same fire underneath, because nothing's burning. That's the whole key to this. You want to keep a good fire where you're not burning anything, and you definitely want to do as much stirring so that you don't cut around medium. So after putting in that chicken base, I could tell it's getting a little, you know, it's starting to get a little like it wants to burn almost, but it's not going to. So I'm turning down my fire just a little bit, back down to something like 4. So I took it from 6 to 4, and I'm back in the pot again, stirring, watching. And at this point, I'm gonna add my garlic and tomatoes, and I like to add those two together. I know it looks like a lot of garlic, but I am gonna cook quite a bit of shrimp. Yeah, so I always add my garlic and my tomatoes together if I'm cooking something that I'm gonna use tomatoes and I'm gonna use garlic. I cook those two together. This way, the tomatoes will prevent the garlic from burning or overcooking, if that makes any sense. So everything's coming together just fine. I'm gonna drop in my cauliflower. And I'm gonna adjust my fire again, put it back up to 6, because I'm listening, guys, which is the key to cooking this meal at times. You're listening for the sizzle in the pan. Now, I don't know, I'm just old school, and this is how I've been doing it for years, so it just kind of works for me that way. But you watch it, and you make sure you're not gonna burn anything. Now I'm coming down to the curry powder. This can be a little tricky, guys, but this works also. So I'm gonna be putting in about 2 teaspoons for now. Right on top of the cauliflower. Might seem like a lot. I'm gonna put a little more.
So like 2 tablespoons.
These are teaspoons really, but yeah, like 1 tablespoon and a half or 1 1/4. And I'm gonna get back to the stirring. A lot of people like to, what Caribbean people call burn their curry. You're not necessarily burning your curry. A lot of people do. They burn their curry when they're cooking like curry goat or curry chicken. We're not necessarily burning the curry because this curry has a good give to it, so to say. So it's not very bitter like some curries. And if you burn your curry too much, it'll get really bitter on you. Right here, this is enough to even say this is a meal. So what I'm showing you here today, guys, you're not only making curry shrimp, you can make curry vegetables this way too. You know, if you want to hold back on the chicken bouillon, which would make this a vegetarian meal, you could do that.
And don't they have a vegetable one?
Yeah, you could use a vegetable-based bouillon, absolutely. Or you could just go with your plain old salt and pepper. But this is where we are right now, and because everything's incorporated nicely and this meat's cooking up nicely, at this point I'm gonna add some liquid. I'm gonna add my broth. I'm going in, taking this water straight from my kettle, and you'll see where I'm gonna stop pouring water. So that's about where I want to be. I'm going to turn my fire up a little bit. Back up to something like 7, 8. I'm going to wait until my stew over here starts to bubble a little bit, so get nice and heated. So now I'm cooking down the vegetables, mainly the cauliflower, coming along well. At this point, I took a little taste and I realized it tastes a little fresh. Caribbean terms, fresh means doesn't have that much salt in there or flavor. Now at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and add in a little bit of my Badia Sazon here. Just a couple of shakes. I know that seems weird, like, come on, how much measure that? How do you measure it? It's kind of difficult to say. I would say half a teaspoon.
And are you using one, because I know some of them have the MSG in it?
Yeah, this one has no MSG.
Okay.
No MSG. That's it there.
With no MSG.
Yeah, Badia. So I turn my fire back down a little bit, and I'm looking at my curry, and I realize I do want to get a little more curry powder in there because I like the color and I like the flavor. So I put about another half a teaspoon of curry in there. My cauliflower is ready. It's cooked. My grandson making all that noise. And at this point, I'm gonna add my shrimp in there. I'm gonna go ahead and drop shrimp in there because it's ready to go. So just add your shrimp in. Shrimp was all washed and cleaned and ready to go. They came deveined already, so I'm not worrying about the vein. Sometimes I might butterfly the shrimp a little, or what you would say, just split the top a little to make it a little more wider. Again, I'm in a rush, so I'm not gonna do that. Once I did that, the heat consistency got a little cooler in there, so I'm cranking my fire back up, guys. Cranking it back up to like 7, 8, and I'm turning my shrimp, trying to cover everyone in there. And I got an old Caribbean trick that I learned too in my day that I'm gonna share with you guys in a second also when it comes to making curry shrimp like this. A lot of shrimp. So I let it cook for a sec. And I don't really use a lid, but in this case, I'm gonna pop a lid on there. This is the secret ingredient that I put in there that I learned from an old friend. And it kind of helps to take the edge off of the shrimp, which means it takes that fish odor out of the shrimp. So you just want to hit it with a little bit of vinegar. So I just go ahead and fill the cap. You don't have to do that if you're a little nervous about it. And I just pour it right in like that. Yeah, somewhere's around there. And it'll help take the edge off of the shrimp. Turn this a bit here, there, and it's almost cooked, guys. This will be maybe less than 2 or 3 minutes and it's done. Shrimp doesn't take that long to cook. So I'm putting in about a tablespoon of cornstarch, and I'm putting in about 2 tablespoons of water. That's it, cornstarch slurry, and that's a little piece of some scallion that I had left over. This is my scallion pan. I'm gonna crank my fire up because this guy is ready now. I'm gonna drop in some cornstarch slurry. And this is like a thickener for my sauce. And there it is coming together. And call this one done. Ringo's famous curry shrimp. And I'm gonna show you the final presentation. I'm playing it up for you. I made some white rice prior. I'm gonna show you everything when I put it together. My wife's getting ready to make some plantains. That's her job.
Photogenic like that.
So here we are. Plantains are being cooked. She's the plantain queen.
You put like 3, you cover the bottom of the pan.
So you put like
coconut
3
oil.
scoops of coconut oil, basically.
Yeah, as long as it's covered and you heat it up. Look at the temperature. It's high. I'm gonna take it down to 6.
Okay.
So they don't burn too quickly.
So how long do you cook it on
Until they
each
brown.
side?
You just wait till they get brown.
And are these sweet plantains or these are non-sweet?
plantains.
Sweet plantains. Okay.
So they're gonna be there for a while. Since the fire is in around 6, it's pretty hot. So you have to watch your plantain. You don't want it to burn. So you have to be patiently watching over them. You want to see some people like to make them even more brown. I don't want to burn them too much. But here you turn them around. And not everything is cooking at the same speed. So you just turn around the ones that are ready.
And why do they call you the plantain queen?
Because nobody else wants to do this job.
What?
Okay, now most of these are done. So since they don't all cook at the same speed, I'm gonna start picking them up. And I like to have a plate with paper towel to kind of drench some of the oil out of it. And I'm gonna pick up the ones that I think are pretty much done. And the sugar starts cooking. That's what you see when it starts really browning. Because this is sweet plantain, so you know it's nice and sweet. So I'm going to pick them up, and then once I'm done with all of them, I'm going to fry the rest of it.
Curry shrimp with white rice, fried plantain. Look at that. Curry shrimp, white rice, fried plantain. Delicious.
5 stars. It's amazing. Look at